Is the coronavirus a sign of the end times? Should I be holding a sign that says, the end is near? Or is this the end of the world as we know it? Well, is the coronavirus a sign of the end times? Actually, the answer is both yes and no. In Luke chapter 21, verse 26 and 27, Jesus said this, that men's hearts would fail them for fear, and their hearts would fail them because of the things that they expect that are coming upon the earth. For the very powers of the heavens will be shaken. Jesus said this, though, when these things begin to happen, you that follow me, you look up, you lift up your heads, because your redemption draws near to you. You see, Jesus actually did tell us that in the last days, things would be coming upon the earth that people who didn't know God, their hearts would literally fail them for fear. Now, the coronavirus is not just the only thing that points to this. If you look at anxiety, if you look at depression, if you look at all of these issues in our culture today, they are at absolutely epidemic proportions. We have more access to health care, more access to help, more access to resources around the world than at any time in human history. And yet, people's hearts are truly failing them for fear. So what do you do when these things are coming on the earth? What do you do when something like the coronavirus, which is not to be made lightly of, listen, it's a pandemic. It's a global pandemic. You don't ignore it. You don't not take common sense reactions and approaches to it. But when you begin to look at things and say, and you're fatalistic, this must mean this. So is it a sign of the end times? It certainly fits the picture Jesus gave. But we can't actually say the coronavirus is in the Bible, that this would be a sign of the end times. No. But what is a sign in your life and my life is, what do you do when these things come upon the earth? Because they've come upon the earth before the coronavirus, and sadly, they're going to come upon the earth after the coronavirus. So the question is not just what does this mean to the end of the world, but what does it mean to your world? Does this end your world? Does this end your peace? Does this end your ability to live your life freely? Jesus came, he said, for freedom, to make you free. That's the purpose he came. I came to set men and women free, not to give them some religion, not to give you hoops to jump through. Jesus came to pay the debt you couldn't pay. He came to purchase our redemption. What's that mean? It means that sin slayed me. Sin separated me from God, and I had no way back. And if God doesn't come and redeem me or buy me back, I'm lost forever. So God sent his Son, born of a virgin, for one reason, so that the sinless and spotless Son of God could hang on a cross, and the wrath of God that was due me came upon him. What an amazing God, isn't it? Just imagine such a righteous God that sin demands a judgment. But he's so merciful that he came and robed himself in a human body, born of a virgin, never tasted sin, and was innocently hung on a cross so that he could pour his own judgment on himself that was due me. I don't care if it's the end times or the beginning days. That's amazing. And no matter what's happening in the earth, the God that did that for you is an ever-present help, the Bible says, in times of trouble. He said, I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. So often we think of God as kind of a hitchhiker through life, somebody who's along for the ride. In fact, we say things like this, the Lord be with you. What does that mean? Is that just so he could watch and not say, oh, God, this is fearful? When he said, yeah, it sure is. God, we're all going under. Yeah, you are. No. He said, I am with you to deliver you. I want to set you on a high place because you knew my name. Intimacy with God that Jesus provides is amazing. It provides an ever-present help, listen, in times of trouble. So whether this is actually an actual sign of the end times or not, really doesn't have a whole lot to do with how you process your life today. And so my hope for you is that you'll yield your heart to the God that loves you with an everlasting love and walk with him and let him be the God he promised to be. and to come into the darkest places of our lives and make us free. If this has helped you, or you know someone who this video can help, would you please share it? Hey, and if you have any questions that we haven't covered in these videos, would you just write them in the comment section? We're going to do our very best to answer those questions. Thanks for watching, and I'm praying for God's best to absolutely overtake your life.